Job satisfaction or employee satisfaction has been defined in many different ways. Some believe it is simply how content an individual is with his or her job, in other words, whether or not they like the job or individual aspects or facets of jobs, such as nature of work or supervision. Others believe it is not so simplistic as this definition suggests and instead that multidimensional psychological responses to one's job are involved. Researchers have also noted that job satisfaction measures vary in the extent to which they measure feelings about the job or cognitions about the job. Definitional issues. The concept of job satisfaction has been developed in many ways by many different researchers and practitioners. One of the most widely used definitions in organizational research is that of Locke, who defines job satisfaction as a pleasurable or positive emotional state resulting from the appraisal of one's job or job experiences. Others have defined it as simply how content an individual is with his or her job, whether he or she likes the job or not. It is assessed at both the global level, or at the facet level. Spector lists 14 common facets: appreciation, communication, co-workers, fringe benefits, job conditions, nature of the work, organization, personal growth, policies and procedures, promotion opportunities, recognition, security, and supervision. A more recent definition of the concept of job satisfaction is from Hullin and Judge, who have noted that job satisfaction includes multidimensional psychological responses to an individual's job, and that these personal responses have cognitive, affective, and behavioral components. Job satisfaction scales vary in the extent to which they assess the affective feelings about the job or the cognitive assessment of the job. Affective job satisfaction is a subjective construct representing an emotional feeling individuals have about their job. Hence, affective job satisfaction for individuals reflects the degree of pleasure or happiness their job in general induces. Cognitive job satisfaction is a more objective and logical evaluation of various facets of a job. Cognitive job satisfaction can be unidimensional if it comprises evaluation of just one facet of a job, such as pay or maternity leave, or multidimensional if two or more facets of a job are simultaneously evaluated. Cognitive job satisfaction does not assess the degree of pleasure or happiness that arises from specific job facets, but rather gauges the extent to which those job facets are judged by the job holder to be satisfactory in comparison with objectives they themselves set or with other jobs. While cognitive job satisfaction might help to bring about affective job satisfaction, the two constructs are distinct, not necessarily directly related, and have different antecedents and consequences. Job satisfaction can also be seen within the broader context of the range of issues which affect an individual's experience at work, or their quality of working life. Job satisfaction can be understood in terms of its relationships with other key factors, such as general well-being, stress at work, control at work, home-work interface, and working conditions. A study titled Analysis of Factors Affecting Job Satisfaction of the Employees in Public and Private Sector, in India concluded that in India employees tend to love their job if they get what they believe is an important attribute of a good job. Weightage factor of each such attribute based on exhaustive survey has been calculated. Region, sector and gender-wise study of job satisfaction has provided consistent picture with respect to distribution of data set analyzed showed that most of the employees in Indian industry are not satisfied with their job except for a few like male in commerce sector and female in education sector. Total job satisfaction level of males is found to be higher than that of women. Total job satisfaction level in manufacturing sector is found to be very low. History. The assessment of job satisfaction through employee anonymous surveys became commonplace in the 1930s. Although prior to that time there was the beginning of interest in employee attitudes, there were only a handful of studies published. Latham and Budworth note that Brock in 1934 was one of the first psychologists to use the newly developed attitude measurement techniques to assess factory worker attitudes. They also note that in 1935 Hoppeck conducted a study that focused explicitly on job satisfaction that is affected by both the nature of the job and relationships with co-workers and supervisors. Models, Affect Theory, Edwin A. Locke. A unregistered trademark S range of effect theory is arguably the most famous job satisfaction model. The main premise of this theory is that satisfaction is determined by a discrepancy between what one wants in a job and what one has in a job. Further, the theory states that how much one values a given facet of work moderates how satisfied/dissatisfied one becomes when expectations are unregistered trademark T met. When a person values a particular facet of a job, his satisfaction is more greatly impacted both positively and negatively, compared to one who does not unregistered trademark T value that facet. To illustrate, if employee A values autonomy in the workplace and employee B is indifferent about autonomy, then employee A would be more satisfied in a position that offers a high degree of autonomy and less satisfied in a position with little or no autonomy compared to employee B. This theory also states that too much of a particular facet will produce stronger feelings of dissatisfaction the more a worker values that facet. Dispositional approach. The dispositional approach suggests that individuals vary in their tendency to be satisfied with their jobs. In other words, job satisfaction is to some extent an individual trait. This approach became a notable explanation of job satisfaction in light of evidence that job satisfaction tends to be stable over time and across careers and jobs. Research also indicates that identical twins raised apart have similar levels of job satisfaction. A significant model that narrowed the scope of the dispositional approach was the core self-evaluations model, proposed by Timothy A. Judge, Edwin A. Locke, and Kathy C. Durham in 1997. Judge et al. Argued that there are 4 core self-evaluations that determine a unregistered trademark S disposition towards job satisfaction: self-esteem, general self-efficacy, locus of control, and neuroticism. This model states that higher levels of self-esteem and general self-efficacy led to higher work satisfaction. Having an internal locus of control leads to higher job satisfaction. Finally, lower levels of neuroticism lead to higher job satisfaction. Equity theory. Equity theory shows how a person views fairness in regard to social relationships such as with an employer. A person identifies the amount of input from a relationship compared to the output to produce an input-output ratio. They then compare this ratio to the ratio of other people in deciding whether or not they have an equitable relationship. Equity theory suggests that if an individual thinks there is an inequality between 2 social groups or individuals, the person is likely to be distressed because the ratio between the input and the output are not equal. For example, consider 2 employees who work the same job and receive the same pay and benefits. If one individual gets a pay raise for doing the same work than the other, then the less benefited individual will become distressed in his workplace. If, on the other hand, one individual gets a pay raise and new responsibilities, then the feeling of equity will be maintained. Other psychologists have extended the equity theory, suggesting 3 behavioral response patterns to situations of perceived equity or inequity. These 3 types are benevolent, equity-sensitive, and entitled. The level by each type affects motivation, job satisfaction, and job performance. Benevolent satisfied when they are under-rewarded compared with co-workers, equity-sensitive believe everyone should be fairly rewarded, entitled people believe that everything they receive is their just due. Discrepancy theory. The concept of discrepancy theory explains the ultimate source of anxiety and dejection. An individual, who has not fulfilled his responsibility feels the sense of anxiety and regret for not performing well. They will also feel dejection due to not being able to achieve their hopes and aspirations. According to this theory, all individuals will learn what their obligations and responsibilities for a particular function, over a time period, and if they fail to fulfill those obligations then they are punished. Over time, these duties and obligations consolidate to form an abstracted set of principles, designated as a self-guide. Agitation and anxiety are the main responses when an individual fails to achieve the obligation or responsibility. This theory also explains that if achievement of the obligations is obtained then the reward can be praise, approval, or love. These achievements and aspirations also form an abstracted set of principles, referred to as the ideal self-guide. When the individual fails to obtain these rewards, they begin to have feelings of dejection, disappointment, or even depression. Here's a thought: an individual does fulfill those obligations and responsibilities to the company, but the employer punishes the employee regardless of the fulfillment of duties. Agitation and anxiety is the main response toward an ungrateful employer who refuses to recognize improvement to company's bottom line because of employees' endeavor. Two-factor theory. Frederick Heersberg unregistered trademark S. Two-factor theory attempts to explain satisfaction and motivation in the workplace. This theory states that satisfaction and dissatisfaction are driven by different factors, motivation and hygiene factors, respectively. An employee unregistered trademark S. motivation to work is continually related to job satisfaction of a subordinate. Motivation can be seen as an inner force that drives individuals to attain personal and organizational goals. Motivating factors are those aspects of the job that make people want to perform and provide people with satisfaction, for example achievement in work, recognition, promotion opportunities. These motivating factors are considered to be intrinsic to the job, or the work carried out. Hygiene factors include aspects of the working environment such as pay, company policies, supervisory practices, and other working conditions. While Heersberg's model has stimulated much research, researchers have been unable to reliably empirically prove the model, with Hackman and Oldham suggesting that Heersberg's original formulation of the model may have been a methodological artifact. Furthermore, the theory does not consider individual differences, conversely predicting all employees will react in an identical manner to changes in motivating hygiene factors. Finally, the model has been criticized in that it does not specify how motivating hygiene factors are to be measured. Job characteristics model. Hackman and Oldham propose the job characteristics model, which is widely used as a framework to study how particular job characteristics impact on job outcomes, including job satisfaction. The model states that there are 5 core job characteristics which impact 3 critical psychological states, in turn influencing work outcomes. The 5 core job characteristics can be combined to form a motivating potential score for a job, which can be used as an index of how likely a job is to affect an employee's attitudes and behaviors. Not everyone is equally affected by the MPS of a job. People who are high in growth need strength are particularly affected by job characteristics. A meta-analysis of studies that assess the framework of the model provides some support for the validity of the JCM. Influencing factors, environmental factors, communication overload and underload. One of the most important aspects of an individual unregistered trademark S work in a modern organization concerns the management of communication demands that he or she encounters on the job. Demands can be characterized as a communication load, which refers to the rate and complexity of communication inputs an individual must process in a particular time frame. Individuals in an organization can experience communication overload and communication underload, which can affect their level of job satisfaction. Communication overload can occur when an individual receives too many messages in a short period of time, which can result in unprocessed information, or when an individual faces more complex messages that are more difficult to process. Due to this process, given an individual unregistered trademark S style of work and motivation to complete a task, when more inputs exist than outputs, the individual perceives a condition of overload which can be positively or negatively related to job satisfaction. In comparison, communication underload can occur when messages or inputs are sent below the individual unregistered trademark S ability to process them. According to the ideas of communication overload and underload, if an individual does not receive enough input on the job or is unsuccessful in processing these inputs, the individual is more likely to become dissatisfied, aggravated, and unhappy with their work, which leads to a low level of job satisfaction. Superior-subordinate communication. Superior-subordinate communication is an important influence on job satisfaction in the workplace. The way in which subordinates perceive a supervisor's behavior can positively or negatively influence job satisfaction. Communication behavior such as facial expression, eye contact, vocal expression, and body movement is crucial to the superior-subordinate relationship. Nonverbal messages play a central role in interpersonal interactions with respect to impression formation, deception, attraction, social influence, and emotional. Nonverbal immediacy from the supervisor helps to increase interpersonal involvement with their subordinates, impacting job satisfaction. The manner in which supervisors communicate with their subordinates nonverbally may be more important than the verbal content. Individuals who dislike and think negatively about their supervisor are less willing to communicate or have motivation to work, whereas individuals who like and think positively of their supervisor are more likely to communicate and are satisfied with their job and work environment. A supervisor who uses nonverbal immediacy, friendliness, and open communication lines is more likely to receive positive feedback and high job satisfaction from a subordinate. Conversely, a supervisor who is antisocial, unfriendly, and unwilling to communicate will naturally receive negative feedback and create low job satisfaction in their subordinates in the workplace. Strategic employee recognition. A Watson-Wyatt worldwide study identified a positive outcome between a collegial and flexible work environment and an increase in shareholder value, suggesting that employee satisfaction is directly related to financial gain. Over 40% of the companies listed in the top 100 of Fortune magazine Euro unregistered trademark S, Euro OE America Euro unregistered trademark S best companies to work for Euro also appear on the Fortune 500. It is possible that successful workers enjoy working at successful companies. However, the Watson-Wyatt Worldwide Human Capital Index study claims that effective human resources practices, such as employee recognition programs, led to positive financial outcomes more often than positive financial outcomes lead to good practices. Employee recognition is not only about gifts and points. It's about changing the corporate culture in order to meet goals and initiatives, and most importantly to connect employees to the company's core values and beliefs. Strategic employee recognition is seen as the most important program not only to improve employee retention and motivation but also to positively influence the financial situation. The difference between the traditional approach and strategic recognition is the ability to serve as a serious business influencer that can advance a company Euro unregistered trademark S strategic objectives in a measurable way. The vast majority of companies want to be innovative, coming up with new products, business models and better ways of doing things. However, innovation is not so easy to achieve. A CEO cannot just order it, and so it will be. You have to carefully manage an organization so that, over time, innovations will emerge. Individual factors, emotion, mood and emotions at work are related to job satisfaction. Moods tend to be longer-lasting but often weaker states of uncertain origin, while emotions are often more intense, short-lived and have a clear object or cause. Some research suggests moods are related to overall job satisfaction. Positive and negative emotions were also found to be significantly related to overall job satisfaction. Frequency of experiencing net positive emotion will be a better predictor of overall job satisfaction than will intensity of positive emotion when it is experienced. Emotion work refers to various types of efforts to manage emotional states and displays. Emotion management includes all of the conscious and unconscious efforts to increase, maintain, or decrease one or more components of an emotion. Although early studies of the consequences of emotional work emphasized its harmful effects on workers, studies of workers in a variety of occupations suggest that the consequences of emotional work are not uniformly negative. It was found that suppression of unpleasant emotions decreases job satisfaction and the amplification of pleasant emotions increases job satisfaction. The understanding of how emotion regulation relates to job satisfaction concerns two models. Emotional dissonance. Emotional dissonance is a state of discrepancy between public displays of emotions and internal experiences of emotions, that often follows the process of emotion regulation. Emotional dissonance is associated with high emotional exhaustion, low organizational commitment, and low job satisfaction. Social interaction model. Taking the social interaction perspective, Work unregistered trademark emotion regulation might beget responses from others during interpersonal encounters that subsequently impact their own job satisfaction. For example, the accumulation of favorable responses to displays of pleasant emotions might positively affect job satisfaction. Genetics. It has been well documented that genetics influence a variety of individual differences. Some research suggests genetics also play a role in the intrinsic, direct experiences of job satisfaction like challenge or achievement. One experiment used sets of monozygotic twins, reared apart, to test for the existence of genetic influence on job satisfaction. While the results indicate the majority of the variance in job satisfaction was due to environmental factors, genetic influence is still a minor factor. Genetic heritability was also suggested for several of the job characteristics measured in the experiment, such as complexity level, motor skill requirements, and physical demands. Personality. Some research suggests an association between personality and job satisfaction. Specifically, this research describes the role of negative affectivity and positive affectivity. Negative affectivity is related strongly to the personality trait of neuroticism. Individuals high in negative affectivity are more prone to experience less job satisfaction. Positive affectivity is related strongly to the personality trait of extroversion. Those high in positive affectivity are more prone to be satisfied in most dimensions of their life, including their job. Differences in affectivity likely impact how individuals will perceive objective job circumstances like pay and working conditions, thus affecting their satisfaction in that job. There are two personality factors related to job satisfaction: alienation and locus of control. Employees who have an internal locus of control and feel less alienated are more likely to experience job satisfaction, job involvement and organizational commitment. A meta-analysis of 187 studies of job satisfaction concluded that high satisfaction was positively associated with internal locus of control. The study also showed characteristics like high Machiavellianism, narcissism, trait anger, type A personality dimensions of achievement striving and impatience irritability, are also related to job satisfaction. Psychological well-being. Psychological well-being is defined as overall effectiveness of an individual unregistered trademark as psychological functioning is related to primary facets of unregistered trademark as life, work, family, community, etc. There are three defining characteristics of PWB. First, it is a phenomenological event, meaning that people are happy when they subjectively believe themselves to be so. Second, well-being involves some emotional conditions. Particularly, psychologically well people are more prone to experience positive emotions and less prone to experience negative emotions. Third, well-being refers to one's life as a whole. It is a global evaluation. PWB is primarily measured using the 8-item index of psychological well-being developed by Berkman. IPWB asks respondents to reply to a series of questions on how often they felt at least about accomplishing something, bored, depressed or unhappy, etc. PWB in the workplace plays an important role in determining job satisfaction and has attracted much research attention in recent years. These studies have focused on the effects of PWB on job satisfaction as well as job performance. One study noted that because job satisfaction is specific to unregistered trademark job, the research that examined job satisfaction had not taken into account aspects of unregistered trademark life external to the job. Prior studies had focused only on the work environment as the main determinant of job satisfaction. Ultimately, to better understand job satisfaction, it is important to take into account an individual unregistered trademark PWB. Research published in 2000 showed a significant correlation between PWB and job satisfaction. A follow-up study by the same authors in 2007 revealed similar results. In addition, these studies show that PWB is a better predictor of job performance than job satisfaction alone. Measuring The majority of job satisfaction measures are self-reports and based on multi-item scales. Several measures have been developed over the years, although they vary in terms of how carefully and distinctively they are conceptualized with respect to affective or cognitive job satisfaction. They also vary in terms of the extent and rigor of their psychometric validation. The brief index of affective job satisfaction is a 4-item, overtly affective as opposed to cognitive, measure of overall affective job satisfaction. The BIAJS differs from other job satisfaction measures in being comprehensively validated not just for internal consistency, reliability, temporal stability, convergent and criterion-related validities, but also for cross-population invariance by nationality, job level, and job type. Reported internal consistency reliabilities range between 0.81 and 0.87. The Job Descriptive Index is a specifically cognitive job satisfaction measure. It measures only a Euro-1 registered trademark S satisfaction in 5 facets: pay, promotions and promotion opportunities, co-workers, supervision, and the work itself. The scale is simple. Participants answer either yes, no, or can a Euro-1 registered trademark T decide in response to whether given statements accurately describe only a Euro-1 registered trademark S job. Other job satisfaction questionnaires include the Minnesota Satisfaction Questionnaire, the Job Satisfaction Survey, and the FACES scale. The MSQ measures job satisfaction in 20 facets and has a long form with 100 questions and a short form with 20 questions. The JSS is a 36-item questionnaire that measures 9 facets of job satisfaction. Finally, the FACES scale of job satisfaction, one of the first scales used widely, measured overall job satisfaction with just one item which participants respond to by choosing a face. Relationships and practical implications. Job satisfaction can be indicative of work behaviors such as organizational citizenship, and withdrawal behaviors such as absenteeism and turnover. Further, job satisfaction can partially mediate the relationship of personality variables and deviant work behaviors. One common research finding is that job satisfaction is correlated with life satisfaction. This correlation is reciprocal, meaning people who are satisfied with life tend to be satisfied with their job and people who are satisfied with their job tend to be satisfied with life. However, some research has found that job satisfaction is not significantly related to life satisfaction when other variables such as non-work satisfaction and core self-evaluations are taken into account. An important finding for organizations to note is that job satisfaction has a rather tenuous correlation to productivity on the job. This is a vital piece of information to researchers and businesses, as the idea that satisfaction and job performance are directly related to one another is often cited in the media and in some non-academic management literature. A recent meta-analysis found surprisingly low correlations between job satisfaction and performance. Further, the meta-analysis found that the relationship between satisfaction and performance can be moderated by job complexity, such that for high-complexity jobs the correlation between satisfaction and performance is higher than for jobs of low to moderate complexity. Additionally, one longitudinal study indicated that among work attitudes, job satisfaction is a strong predictor of absenteeism, suggesting that increasing job satisfaction and organizational commitment are potentially good strategies for reducing absenteeism and turnover intentions. Recent research has also shown that intention to quit alone can have negative effects on performance, organizational deviance, and organizational citizenship behaviors. In short, the relationship of satisfaction to productivity is not as straightforward as often assumed and can be influenced by a number of different work-related constructs, and the notion that a happy worker is a productive worker should not be the foundation of organizational decision-making. For example, employee personality may even be more important than job satisfaction in regards to performance. Absenteeism. Numerous studies have been done to show the correlation of job satisfaction and absenteeism. For example, Goldberg and Waldman looked at absenteeism in 2 dimensions as total time lost and the frequency of time lost. Self-reported data and records-based data were collected and compared. Following absenteeism measures were evaluated according to absenteeism predictors: self-report time lost, self-reported frequency, records-based time lost. Only 3 categories of predictors had a significant relationship ratio and were taken in account further: health, wages, position level. This research results revealed that absenteeism cannot be predicted by job satisfaction, although other studies have found significant relationships. See also: References.